So I just wait a little bit because it takes a little while to be live. So I'm just watching. Okay, we are live. What's all going on, guys? Welcome to Frugal BC. Should have a really cool show for you today. AJ Writes Crypto should be joining us. I hope hasn't joined yet. So we'll look at that, and we got plenty of stuff to look at in the meantime. Meanwhile, we got a couple people here. Mr. Nobody AI Podcast says, yeah. And Jackson Crawford says, hello, guys. Welcome to the show. Like you said, AJ should be joining us pretty soon. I just sent him a message to remind him, and I'd sent him the join link yesterday. Hopefully he remembers. Put it on his calendar. And anyway, meanwhile, we can talk a little bit about what's going on in... Jay says, what's good? What's going on, buddy? Welcome to the show. In the meantime, let's look at the Algorand chart. This is from Vestige, one of my favorite places to go for this stuff. Currently sitting at a little over 12 cents. And, we had a little flash crash below 12 cents, but the main candles stayed above 12. So we seem to have some resistance. And you can notice, and listen, I'm not a TA guy. I don't know if other than description, I don't really think this stuff is always predictive, but it is nice to see those lows coming in at higher rates and highs mostly coming in a little bit higher. So I think we're at a pretty good position for this stuff, but nice to see that. Good to see Algorand. I think we're going to see a nice move up once really we're looking at the alt season coming in the first quarter of 2025. Crazy to think we're getting close to 2025. By the way, apologize if my voice isn't super great. I think might be coming down with something. I feel just a little bit run down, but not too bad. Not so much that I had to cancel the stream or anything. So we'll bring on AJ as soon as he joins. Meanwhile, we can go through, we're talking about Algorand, and we can talk about some of the other coins. So let's just take a look at what's going on with those. And before we even talk about that, one of the things I found that really surprising, we're going to talk about a little bit more lately. If we end up just doing the stream on our own, I'll just do a segment about it. But this weird thing going on with Hedera, where apparently they took over Casper. Have you guys heard about that? In fact, let me just unshare for a second. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but apparently Casper Labs is now under the control of Hedera. I don't have all the details. The problem with Twitter sometimes is like you get the stuff really early, but then you don't get a lot of the details. And I had trouble finding. I found one video that I think we can react to, and it looks like he's talking to someone at Hedera, so we can dig into that. While we wait for AJ, let's answer some chats. Jackson says, how are the tacos in New Mexico? Are you talking about, well, I'll leave that up there. Jackson, are you talking about Dora's Tacos? That was not in New Mexico. That was actually in Iowa, believe it or not. And I believe his wife is actually Mexican. But yeah, or Hispanic, I guess. I think he said Mexican. I don't remember, but yeah, but they were pretty good. Probably kind of tacos you're used to. It wasn't like exceptionally good or anything, but pretty good. I enjoyed them. I thought they did a good job, and it was a nice, cool little place, and it's kind of neat that he's incorporated Algorand to some degree. I did pay in Taco Coin, which was kind of cool, so that was pretty neat. But what's weird is I keep getting notifications. I get new notifications, but no new messages are popping up. So I think I'm getting some from Twitter as well. If you guys are watching on Twitter, welcome. AJ should be joining us soon. My son was joined link yesterday, so hopefully he's joining soon. I probably should have put the date and time in again just one more time just to be sure. But I can answer some questions while we're at it. So Jay says, what is your most bullish and most bearish case for algo in 2025? So, I've generally been thinking it's probably going to hit around $2-3, and that's purely based on past performance, coupled with the fact that there's probably a lot more activity than there was the last bull run. We have a lot more apps are open. You got stuff like TravelX going on, Hasab Pay, which is like a payment platform using Algorand in Afghanistan, kind of like a PayPal type thing. We got the MasterCard partnership that's set up. So these are all like reasons to like Algorand and care about it. I tend to think a lot of this stuff gets kind of priced in though, so I think its effects will be there, but not necessarily super strong. But the main thing, so here's my take on Algorand and why I like it is I don't really hold a lot of loose Algorand. All of my Algorand is put to work. I mean, I got like my total portfolio I think is almost like 70,000 Algorand, but like actual Algorand that I just have here, holding on that I'm just holding on to is it's pretty minimal. So I'm putting it to work. I got it in DeFi, mostly in LPs, and that's it's doing really, really well. So let's see. So that's my bullish case is that it really doesn't have to go up a ton. I'm set up to make gains from just having Algorand doing well, right? So Abraham AI says, I am stuck in the past. He says, narratives and theme in crypto has changed. It's all about AI now, and Sui has done away with algo. I don't know if that's entirely true, but I actually like Sui. I do. I have made some videos on Sui. You can go back and watch some of those. I don't think I titled them well. I think I tried too much to. I don't know. There's an art form to titling videos and thumbnails, and I have definitely not mastered it yet. But yeah, I actually like Sui a lot. So I don't think it has to be either or. I don't think it has to be either or for Sui. I think Sui is doing some really cool stuff that I like, and I think Algorand is starting to move in that direction a little bit too. I really think consensus nodes are a big deal. It's the node incentivization, I should say, because having those nodes actually fund paying people to use them, it's going to grow the ecosystem. It's going to put more TVL locked, and I think and then the pools you'll be able to. So you'll need 30,000 algo to participate in the consensus node, but probably less. We don't know the details on how much you will need to stake, but usually there aren't any limits on that from what I've seen from other chains. So you'll be able to join a pool, and it's fun. Fame says, "Go Frugal BC." Welcome, Fame. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, I see. It does actually tell me. It does tell me YouTube versus other platforms. I don't know if you're able to do that on Twitter. Interesting. Welcome, Fame. You guys can go check my live stream with him. It was a lot of fun. And okay, let me go back. There's a lot of negativity today. So I want to address this while we wait for AJ. Gosh, I don't see him in the chat either. That doesn't look like he's seen my message on Twitter. AJ says, or I'm sorry, Abraham AI says, World Cup 2022 is Algo's last hype, which ended and the contract wasn't able to keep the price high. Actually, what's happening right now is that is being, I actually covered this on one of my videos, but there's a big push for FIFA sharing the NFTs now on the big screen where they'll have a QR code. You can scan it and download the NFTs. Those NFTs are taking off. They're doing really, really well. And now there's more of a public presence, which is what I was hoping for the first time around. Yeah, I was disappointed by that too. I didn't like that. But one thing I want to touch on, because Abraham AI says I'm stuck in the past. Actually, I'm not. So Algorand is the chain that I do stuff on, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy using it, but it's not a coin that I buy and hold for price appreciation. I actually use the coin, and I make money by using it. Now, some stuff didn't work out. Lofty AI. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of how that worked out. So I thought that was kind of disappointing the way that turned out. But other stuff like Tiny Man, I mean, I'm doing great on the LPs. And Gabriel says charity coin useless. Stacy woke Warden. Fame says he's got me some Fame tokens. Yeah, I'll have to. I don't know if I can even get back into my Fame wallet. I had to delete it because I was just running out of space, and I'm trying to do more Twitter videos. Hold on a second. I gotta. Yep. I got that. Okay. So sorry, I had to answer that chat. Yeah, I don't know if I kept that passphrase. I think I just turned it on to like check it out really quick. So, well, anyway, let's look at some. Well, here, okay, I'll answer this one more question. Yeah, so AJ got the time wrong. I definitely should have. Hold on one second. Yeah, so AJ is going to try to come on. He has a call. No. Sorry about this. Okay. Okay, so he'll be coming on. He's going to be a little late, but in the meantime, we can talk about some stuff. Okay, where were we? Okay, so Abraham asks, why do you think Algorand has tanked more than other alts? That's a good question. Well, if you look at utility coins, you know, and we mentioned SWE earlier. SWE is actually kind of the exception to the rule. Maybe Near is another good exception, but generally I find utility coins just don't do as well as meme coins. Meme coins just take off. I don't think the market is. We talked about this on the Next Block show when I was on too. That I just don't think. You know, I just don't think the narrative is there right now. A lot of stuff is memes and hypes, and when the market matures, I think utility coins will be more valued. So when I talk about Algorand a lot, it's because I like the technology. I think that's really interesting, and the same reason I like SWE. You know, and when I make a portfolio video, people are kind of surprised that Algorand isn't on it, but that's because my Algorand's put to work. Yeah, I have a lot of other coins. You know, I focus on Algorand on the channel a lot because I think the technology is worth covering and it's interesting. But I'm always very clear, and maybe I need to be more clear about this. This is not really the coin I hold for the long term. And so actually, one of the things we can do, and Bombas says, this is an X comment. Cool. He says, have an excellent day. I like it. Thank you, Bombas. Glad to have you watching on X. Well, to me, an alt is anything not Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know what we're talking about here. Okay, so yeah, while we're at it, why don't we hold on? Let me pull up. Well, actually, that doesn't even, I can pull up which ones I have. I haven't updated my spreadsheet, so I can just talk about it. But it's not going to be. So I updated this last week for my appearance on the Next Block. But the coins I'm holding right now that are not Algorand, that I'm not like, you know, using in an ecosystem, are Solana, Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm still my average entry on Bitcoin is like 30,000, so I'm about double up on that. Metastau, PYR, Near, Mina, Matic, Matic, jeez. HBAR, XRP, HBAR, XRP. Now, this is an example. These are utility tokens that are doing not so well right now. I'm curious about HBAR if the news about Casper Labs is going to make a difference. But like a lot of this stuff, it's narrative. HBAR had this announcement about BlackRock. They said they had this partnership. BlackRock said no money was exchanged. People got really mad. I think that was kind of silly. And then the price tanked again, and I did sell off a little on that top because you got to take profits. Yeah, Blur was another bad play, but Sui is doing well. Link, I'm still a little underwater on, but I think Link will actually bought back in a little more to lower my total average entry. But yeah, I think Link will be good. So Abraham says, "What do you think about Casper Labs?" Well, I didn't know much about it, but now I'm more interested in it because this news with HBAR and Casper Labs. I've heard. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been able to verify any of the stuff I've heard, but I've heard like kind of bad things about Casper Labs, and that this was people who are in Casper are actually happy about the HBAR takeover. It sounds like, but 100%. I still want to study it more. I actually want to watch that. I need to watch that video because I'm just surprised. There's been a lot of chatter on Twitter about it, but I can't find anything official. I could probably look a little harder, but I haven't had a ton of time to look, to be fair. Charles says right after the market cap increased, the price dropped. Well, I think AJ will be coming on like really soon. He had a really short phone call at 12:30 my time, would have been 1:30 his time. So I think once that's over, he'll be in. So let's look at these. Okay, yeah. Jay says nothing is doing well right now, other than a select few. Why do you just hate on algo? That's true. Although I did notice. I did notice that it was one of the worst performing ones over like the last year. I did a comparison earlier in the year where I looked at like the last year to like basically the 1 year time frame, and Algorand and HBAR had done pretty terribly. Gallo was even worse. Yeah, but let's look at what's going on with charts here. So yeah, Tiny's still at the top. So Tiny made its way to the very top of the charts, which I think is really, really interesting. And unlike most ASAs, this one has done actually. It hasn't followed the boot pattern. It started to, but not exactly. So most ASAs, I think you can see this on screen, right? They kind of come up, they come down. That's the boot. That's the bootleg, and then they kind of like slowly taper off, and that's the foot of the boot. So I've been calling it the ASA boot pattern because it tends to just follow this most of the ASAs follow this pattern. Now Tiny has been dropping in value lately, but compared to where it started, it kind of came up, down, back up, and it's kind of been like sort of an average range. Now if this continues, that'll be obviously really bad, but from what I've seen, it's kept like relatively within this 3 to 5 cent price range for a lot of its existence, which is really interesting to me. So I've been staking Tiny and earning Tiny and putting that into LPs, and it's been doing pretty well for me. It's almost $1 million in TVL just by itself, almost 4 million market cap. So I think that makes a pretty interesting. I think that's a pretty interesting chart, and unlike most ASAs that you see. Yeah, chips number 3, Polka Gold. Yay for P Gold. I've been thinking I need to get into cold, and this might be a way to do it. And Daffy, the Daffer token is popping up on the charts now too. DeFi, that's an old classic, just like chips, been around for a while. Vestige's own coin is up there. Opulus, well, I think you guys know how I feel about Opulus and Coop pumping, and so is Gora. And Gora had I saw some kind of negative stuff around Gora lately, and I don't know what that's all about. But it's sitting around 4 cents. Coop at around 2.5. I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, what ones do you guys like? Meanwhile, we'll come back to maybe look at some other stuff. Deshaun from X says, "Up everyone from the Comp X community. Welcome." By the way, in the meantime, while we wait, AJ should be here pretty soon. In the meantime, if you haven't hit the like button, I'd really appreciate that. In fact, what do we got for? Let me just see what we got for likes here. And of course, if you want to subscribe to the channel, I appreciate that a lot. Let's make sure I hit the pause button so I don't hear myself. We got 18 likes. That's good. 18 likes. We just get a couple more. Let's get it up to 25. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Good. But thanks everyone for tuning in. I appreciate that. We do have channel memberships too. The lives, obviously, you can't get early, but channel members get my videos before anyone else. So you can check that out in the main channel page. Go to the channel page, hit the join link, and boom, you can be a member. You can join all our other members in the Frugal Knots, and I gotta start chatting with them a little more too. And I only make it $1 because I just want to get like members in. I don't really care about the money too much. You can't make it free though, and it does help your channel a lot. So I appreciate that. We'll have AJ here pretty soon. In the meantime, KMFA says Nico is looking decent. We'll look at that in a second. XUSD has about 680,000 in TVL, says Deshaun. That must be on page 2, huh? We'll check that out. Danny Kitchen says, "Good morning from New Zealand." It's lunchtime for where I am, but good must be morning in New Zealand. So I wonder if it's the other one. And John Muskie says we should jam. Good drummer here. I don't know if I'm a good guitarist. I used to play bass in bands, and then I kind of switched over to guitar. And I've been going to this open blues jam and playing. Yeah, that's a quite a different experience. Bass, you can just kind of sit on the root note and play around a little from there. It's not too, and you have a good safety spot, I think, in a band when you're on bass. But guitar, it's like, man, you gotta. The first time I went, it was a giant wake up call. I'm like, oh, I don't know the fretboard nearly as well as I think I do. The one and only says, "Been a while, yo, Algo family, welcome to the show. Welcome to everyone. We got 32 watching. Very cool. Yeah, we've had good. Our live streams have done pretty well lately, so I appreciate that. I kind of just want to see. Actually, it's hard to tell how many you have. Oh, 64. Yeah, I got 64 people watching on Twitter too. So welcome, Twitter folks. And I'm going to see all your comments. They'll both pop in. I think the Kick ones will too. I actually am on Kick. If you guys want to go give me a follow on Kick, I'd appreciate that. It'd just be cool to have a couple followers over there. I don't know if Kick does a good job kicking out my stuff into the audience, so to speak. Yeah, and I think it just should be coming pretty soon. So keep an eye out. He'll be coming very, very soon. He said his phone call would be pretty short, that he had to take at 12:30 our time, which was about 15 minutes after the stream started. Yeah, so in the meantime, I actually have a moonbag of NEAR. My NEAR is in moonbag territory. And for those that don't know what that is, that means you have sold off your initial investment and everything is to the profit. So I've actually made pretty good money on NEAR already, because my average buy-in for NEAR is 220, and it was actually quite a bit lower. I bought back in during a dip. So I think it was in the dollar something range. So great returns on that. Happy to see that. Deshaun says, "Oh, you're on Kick. Nice." Yeah. I am. Since I have like 0 followers there. I've been trying to get people to maybe migrate over there a little bit. But happy to have you on Twitter or YouTube, wherever you're tuning in. It just occurred to me we have almost 100 people watching between Twitter and YouTube. That's something else. Jupiter Eye says, morning from Kelowna. Where's Kelowna? I appreciate you having here, Jupiter. I appreciate that. And we got morning from Victoria, BC, Canada. Well, welcome. I have been to Vancouver. I did not go to Victoria. Kind of wanted to, but I was only there for a couple days coming up from Seattle. So I was actually, the funny thing is I wanted to get a BC hat when I was in British Columbia, and I just never came across one. It was kind of surprising, actually. Okanagan Lake, he's Jupiter Eye says, okay, that's cool. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome welcome the one and only. Welcome Jupiter Eye. And Jay says, I have 507,000 algo, 5,500 algo at price at 15 cents. Yeah, that's gonna be something, man. I mean, listen, for you, if a 3x would just be probably life-changing, I'd imagine. I don't know a lot about your situations. And some on the other side, Jeffrey from Maine. Greetings from Maine, Frugal BC. Well, appreciate you having you on. Like I said, for anyone just joining us, AJ should be here in a few minutes. So we'll just hang tight. We'll check out some other. Let's go back to. So speaking of, I know Fame it was or possibly still is in the audience, but Fame token took a huge jump. That's wild. Look at that. So each Fame token is worth like $8 now. That's pretty cool. And this is a very interesting chart. This is not this is like almost the ASA boot, except it just kind of went down instead. I actually have one of the original wooden Fame tokens that I got from Bilal. And if you want to see that episode, there were some issues with him hearing me on his end, but I just typed the questions toward the end and we still kind of got through it. So you can go check that out on the live tab. Jeffrey says Bilal is an OG. Agreed. I got him at Decipher the first time. Fame says, get your passphrase, mate. You have 10 there. Jupiter says, please ask about what John was talking about regarding Algorand Network Visualizer. John said it would show all activities on the network visually. Perhaps we can hear more about that. So I am in talks to get John as well as the entire, in fact, I got to follow up on that. We're supposed to get the entire crew from the Algorand podcast, which means Mark, the CMO, and Min. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to pull that off. We might have to have them on separately, but I thought it'd be really cool. I told them it'd be a great way to kick off, like when they kick off the next season, is to come on the show all at once and have a cool chat. So appreciate everyone tuning in, by the way. Let's see. Do I still have that turned on? Oh, Tainu? What is Tainu? You know, there's a tiny woman, which I think is kind of interesting. Oh, it's brand new. And it's really taken off. This is very interesting. But this is, I think this is the first half of the boot. So the other half of the boot might be coming. With stuff like this, you want to get in right here. If you can get in right here, you know, you get a coin or get a coin before it even goes on the market. Cool. Up here, I'd watch out. Not financial advice, but I just want to be clear about that. You got to be careful. Yeah, we got over 100 people watching between the two, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so if he comes on, I'll ask him about that network visualizer. Danny Kitchen says, hope Algo D. Sean says that would be cool. Get them all on the same time. Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. I actually got to reach out to them again because John he did reach out about coming on, and I said, hey, it'd be cool if you all came on. Wouldn't that be a neat thing? So he kind of liked the idea, so hopefully that will happen. There's another one called Moon Juice Rocket Fuel. Also pumping like crazy. And like I said, just watch out because usually this is the first half of the boot. Biggest gainers, Bawomp, Rug Ninja. Rug Ninja has its own coin. This one is like the back half of the boot, or the front half of the boot, I should say. Down, and then it kind of tapers off. You see how they all make that pattern? It's kind of wild. So many of them make that pattern. It's just a really common thing. Let's answer some more. Oh, you're gonna say okay. It must have. I do that all the time, where I accidentally hit the return key when I meant to hit something else. So the whole message that Danny Kitchen sent was, "Hope Algorand does well soon. Been holding for 2 years." Yeah, I've been holding. Is it 4 years? It's hard to say because I actually bought. I think it was 4 years that I actually had an Algorand wallet and had my Algorand on its own wallet, but I was buying it at Coinbase a long time ago. Jeffrey says, "Do you think you'll be doing any videos to celebrate the Aura halving?" I'd have to look into that. I didn't realize that was coming up, so thanks for bringing that to my attention. Lims says, "When will they announce participation nodes?" So supposedly that is supposed to come in Q1 of next year. Now, as originally they were talking October, or at least Q4 of this year, but it looks like that's going to be Q1 instead. So while I'm waiting, and by the way, if you're watching on Twitter, feel free to share the video, like it, all that good stuff too. I know I talk about this stuff a lot, and it's probably annoying and stuff, but Jeffrey says the 14th is the halving event. In the meantime, let's talk about this Hedera news while I wait for AJ to come on. Let me find the first one. Oh, I hate this. One thing I really dislike, I can't stand the way that Twitter's bookmarks work. Like if I click on the tweet, I just want to go to the tweet. Don't load it up in the side. It's really irritating to me. But anyway. So I first learned about this from Nick, the crypto crusader here at Ncash Official. Said all Casper held by Casper Labs should be airdrop. Oh, that's not even the first one. Hold on. Give me a second. That was one of the ones I saved. Actually, I'll show this one. This is from Bob Gill. He said, Casper Labs is dead. It's Prove AI now. Guess what? It will be built on Hedera now. Big FU to Crypto Charge for calling me names and defaming me. There was some drama there between apparently this Crypto Charge guy, so I don't really care about that. Update on Prove AI AG, formerly known as Casper Labs. So this is from Casper themselves. Prove AI, GG, formerly known as Casper Labs, and the creators of Prove AI product, announced today a partnership to build their product exclusively on Hedera. Hedera will support the go-to market of Prove AI's governance AI product via a grant and marketing support focused solely on enterprise. We wish Prove AI success with its go-to market and will root for them. Recently, we, the Casper Association, announced a new community-centered vision and new board that will lead Casper's transition to a community-led blockchain. This underscores our commitment to transparent governance and mass market use cases that go far beyond an enterprise focus. With our rapidly expanding community, which doubled in the last 2 months, our growing DeFi ecosystem, the new apps and partnerships such as Router Protocol joining our network, we are very excited about the future and continued evolution of Casper network and diverse community it supports. So that's very, very interesting. So I don't know what that. I feel like there's broader. I feel like there's broader implications there, but it's not really talking about. It's not really talking about what's going on. Exactly what that means. I mean, it just seems like Casper is. Well, let's look at the charts once here. Just give me a second here. Yeah, so this is what the price has been doing over 24 hours. Interesting enough, community sentiment is still 92%. It's bullish. Let's see what happens when I zoom out. Yeah, so that's not a great week. It's a 26% drop in a week. And about that in a month too. How about a year back? Huge drop from a year. It's down 74%, 75% over a year. I mean, I think Algorand's actually, let me see about compared to Algorand. Actually, we can compare it. Um, yeah, so we found so Algorand's actually up. Algorand's like up 23% in the year time since this time last year. And that is not the case for Casper. Casper is down 66%. So I think things are, we get bummed out about Algorand, but things are looking a lot worse for Casper. That's really disappointing. Yeah, so if I was Casper, I'd be pretty unhappy about that. Some people still. Oh, here's the one on the right here is kind of interesting. Hold on a second. He says Casper, aka Prove AI, moves to H bar WTF. So what happens to Casper token? Is this a migration or a goodbye? If someone knows something, please explain. And that's what I'm talking about. Like this Casper network announcement didn't really explain that. So we don't really know what's happening. I find that very, very confusing. So we don't have AJ yet. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Casper. I'm really, really curious because it doesn't look good for Casper. But I wanted to cover that news because the other part of that is that Hedera has been having issues, and Hedera is like people. The narrative on Hedera had gone really, really sour. So it's really, really good to see something good happening. Something good happening for Hedera. So it seems like a big win for Hedera, which Hedera needed. Hedera has been having troubles. It's the sentiment I was seeing for a long time was really, really negative. And I want to acknowledge this super chat from Taco, $2 from Taco. Hope you have a good day. Thanks, Taco. I appreciate the super chat so much. And Taco is the guy who you saw in my video who I visited in Iowa. So if you're ever in Iowa, Crystal Lake, Iowa, be sure to go check out Taco's Dora's Tacos, the restaurant. You can get some delicious tacos, and the churro chips are amazing. Oh, they're so good. They're really, really good. Hero supports Sammers now. Are you saying scammers in Casper Labs? I'm not sure what that says. Deshaun says, yeah, things are going to come around with many stay building on Algorand. Like Compex is building a lot of stuff on Algorand. We see a lot of building on Algorand, which is like, Danny says you have asks if I have a Discord channel. Sort of, which isn't probably the best. Isn't probably what you were looking for, but I think IRL is trying to chat, but I don't think it's working. Sorry, IRL. I'd see that you're trying to chat. It's just not. IRL, what are you doing? You're sending all kinds of chats in. Yeah, go check out IRL, by the way. She's really cool. Here, should we go? I'm gonna think that's a hearty face. So I love Frugal BC. It could be like a murder thing, a knife. I don't know, but no, IRL is really cool. You should go check out her channel. They have a really cool little variety show that they do on Tuesdays with all kinds of stuff, not just Algorand. Is there any potential for investors on Algorand? Like I said, I mean, yeah, you're probably going to get, I mean, even if you get like a 3x up, like that's a crazy return, right? Now you have to go back to how long ago did you buy it and kind of like divide the number of years. So maybe it's not every year, it's not 3x obviously, but that'd be like 100%. If you bought it 3 years ago and you get a 3x, that's like 100% each year. That's a lot. Now I know in crypto we're used to much bigger X's, bigger returns, but like 100% a year is like a crazy good investment. So yeah, there's potential, but other coins will probably do better. That's just typically what's been happening. I would love it. I love it to be different. I can hang on for another 15 minutes, I think. And if not, we'll have to run it back. So Bart says, do you think Algorand can reach $1 the next bull run? Yeah, I think it absolutely can reach $1. In fact, let's look at some charts here. Give me a second here. So let's go all time actually. So remember now, this is one thing that DZ actually pointed out when he was on my channel, that Algorand kind of opened at like over $3 and it's never hit that. It was kind of a botched launch. You never want to see this from a coin launch. You never want to see it just crash like that. I don't pretend I'm like an expert on this, by the way, but remember, like we had this run up, and this is important to remember. So here's Algorand. Algorand was still like not looking great in price wise, even into December. Okay, that's a really important to remember. We started seeing a run up in January, and then by this little early top here, where it was $1.60, that was like the middle of February, right before Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day. And then, it wasn't until like later that year, later in 2021, that we saw a huge run up. So you might, this might be like middle of next year before we see a huge run up. Bitcoin usually comes earlier than that, and then the alts. The one only said, I said scammers. There was a rumor of this happening with Casper Labs to Hedera. Casper Labs has been selling their Casper tokens, pushing the price down for a long time. Sound familiar with Hedera? Be careful. And yeah, Algorand was selling to fund operations for a while. They've stopped. I think that's a good thing. I hope that also happens with Hedera. Now they do have to release coins. So coin releases are pretty normal. It's a matter of the rates, and they actually put a lot on the market. So that's something to keep in mind with Hedera. But I think that's starting to, where are we at with Hedera? Let's look at that. Okay. So we've got 37.68 billion of the 50 billion H bar circulating. By the way, one time I made a Hedera video and accidentally said 50 million instead of billion. I mean, obviously it was a speaking error, but the two people shredded. Oh, people were so mad. It was so funny. People were like all over the comments. It's like, yeah, I know it's 50 billion. And it is important. It is a big difference. But I mean, I'm pretty sure I had it up on screen. So it was just like a speaking error, not like that wasn't like I really thought it was 50 million. It was 50 billion. Yeah. Because I also said something like, I'm sure I made a reference to Algorand as well, which is 10 billion. Yeah. People get mad. I always wonder, by the way, what to make of this community sentiment, because like a lot of ones are bullish that haven't been doing very well, and like Algorand's is like 90 some, but then like Ethereum or Solana is even lower, I think. Let's pop this up really quick. No, it's about 84%, so not terrible, but Solana having a really good day, up 5% at 175. My price targets are still a little higher yet, but I've definitely taken some profit on Solana because my buy-in was around 20 bucks, and then I bought back in during a dip. I think when it was, I don't remember what I bought back in on, but now it's like, now my average buy-in is like more like 60, 70, something like that. So, hmm. um, well, I was hoping AJ would be able to, he said it would be a few minute phone call, but it looks like that phone call went longer, and I'm sure it was an important one. So I'm gonna give him 15 more minutes because I have a lot to do today, so I can't stay on any more than like, if it gets to 1:15, yeah, I would only have like 15 minutes maybe to interview him. I usually try to wrap these up in about an hour because right now I still have a day job that might be changing, but right now that is the case. If so, these things happen. I'll run it back. We'll run it back another time. My mistake is I probably should have reiterated the time because I forget like I wish the join link would provide more information when you send someone the link. That would be really helpful. And in the meantime, after the show, if you want to see I've been on AJ a couple times on his show, so I wanted to have him on too. And you can go watch one of those too. I think we had a pretty good conversation. But he's got a different perspective than me. He looks broader at the ecosystem than I do. I focus mostly on Algorand. Well, meanwhile, let's see if there's another news item that I wanted to cover. I mean, I was looking through some of the. There's a lot of hate on Casper. Let's see what this guy has to say. Hold on a second. I thought this was an interesting take. This is from A West. My initial thoughts on the Casper drama is this: Prove AI made a business decision as a. Wait, are you seeing this? Okay. As a for-profit business with real employees and livelihoods to take the deal with Hedera and leverage their governing council, Casper Networks has been having friction with Prove AI over the future direction of the network, which they now have a huge upgrade coming along with a more decentralized and community-driven approach. If you can't understand the difference between nonprofit Casper Network and the for-profit Prove AI, then I can't help you. Well, I don't know the difference. I mean, I guess I don't know anything about Casper, so maybe you should tell me, but okay. This is bullish both for Casper and HBAR holders. Glad I'm a holder of both. Side note, people way too much I've been put. Side note, people put way too much weight on Marinal and the Casper Labs instead of Mr. and the Casper Association, who appears to have a lot more experience in developing technology for the masses than Mineral ever. I don't follow Casper nearly enough to know what all that was about, but I do think it was interesting. This is one of the more positive takes on this, I think. And interesting that he's pointing out the positive notes of the Hedera and the governing council, because I've actually heard a lot of people who were not so happy about that. People have been criticizing the fact that Hedera really hasn't grown its decentralized base more. And I've seen that come out ever since that BlackRock thing. That seemed to be the thing that set off the irritation with Hedera. Yeah, I don't know how much my voice is really starting to go because I'm not really feeling very well. I might have to. I'll make it a full hour. We'll go 10 more minutes. Sean said, "I'm mega bullish on algo. Value for money is unreal." I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy it because I mostly like using it. You know, Randall Dance says, "Go algo." We got some positive people in here. That's cool. Yeah, I know people like to hate on Algorand, and you know, I kind of get it. Because the price, you know, the price has been frustrating. But remember, we got a long ways to go before. I probably should have looked at those charts closer myself. The one and only says, "Are you kidding me? Casper Labs was given 300 million plus million. Where do you think they got the money from?" I don't know. I don't know anything about Casper. I guess, are you going to say token holders? I don't think I've read a single thing about Casper until today. If so, if like to see some live someday, says Taco. Live on the feed, maybe. Oh, okay. I missed the earlier when he said, "Do you play Guitar Frugal?" I sure do. They're not just decorations. Yeah, some people have asked me to play. I might throw that up on Twitter first if I do anything. Um, we'll see. Yeah, like I said, I've been going to play this blues jam, and it's really fun, but it's terrifying. It's kind of like, you know, like what I hear people say about stand-up comedy. I think playing guitar, going up on a blues jam, going up in a blues jam where you don't know what's going to be played until it's played. They usually give you the key, and I've noticed the band leader will usually, if it's outside of 145, you know, like, which is pretty typical blues, but what I didn't realize is they'll change it up a lot, and you have to kind of watch for the chord changes. So then you got to really know the fretboard, especially if you're soloing over it. And you can do it. The funny thing about guitar is you can play it as simply and as complexly as possible. So if you're going to play it over a blues, you can just stick with the root scales and play those, and it'll sound okay. And then if you want to take it to the next level, you can play, you can play over the chord. You can switch chords, so that means you're switching the scales as the chords change. And then there's all kinds of little extra notes that you can throw into. Like you can throw in, was it a flat six or is it a raised six? I can't remember. There's stuff. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. Well, guys, yeah, I'm bummed AJ couldn't make it, but I'm really losing my voice because I think my voice is really going. So I'm probably going to change like the Taco says, "You are a badass." Yeah, so I was mentioning that earlier. I used to play bass in bands, but I wasn't guitar. I always did on my own, and then lately I've been jumping up and playing in this blues jam. Some of these guys are really, really good too. So I always feel a little. It's nerve wracking, and the first time I went, the very first time I went was a few years ago, but it was just me and the guy starting because it was the very first one they held. That wasn't too bad, but then playing with the full band, it's a lot, you know. It was fun though. It's terrifying though. Feels good when you're done though. So the first time I went back, like a few months ago, I was like, yeah, I had really bad. It was really rough, and I left feeling pretty defeated. But I was like, okay, I know where my holes are now. I know what I got to work on. So yeah, it's fun. I really love playing guitar. I love watching live music. We got a new place in town that's getting some really good acts. Like Eddie 9 Volt, I just learned is coming back. That band is excellent. If you guys want to check out a really great band, check out Eddie 9 Volt. And if you like country, this gal, shoot, what was her name? Well, Jenny Don't came. Her band is really great. She's like a former punk singer who took on country instead, and it's really neat. Shoot, sorry, I gotta look this up. It's gonna drive me nuts. She's got this the gal I'm talking about. She's got a song called "Your Furniture's Too Nice for Me and My Dog." It's really great. Shoot. Oh, Melissa Carper. That was her name, Melissa Carper. So check those out. Taco says, thanks for sharing your stories about playing. I appreciate that. Well, sorry we couldn't get AJ on. I hope we had some fun just kind of chatting about Algorand. I'll probably change the title when I get done here, but doesn't look like we're going to make it. I got to get back to doing the day job, which honestly, I'm going to be leaving at the early next year, which probably means I can stream more often, which will be fun. And not because of YouTube. I'm not making enough on YouTube to make a full-time job, but it will help. It is extra money. But I have a local newsletter on Substack that is doing really well and keeps growing. And I've got some sponsors lined up for December. So early next year, I'm planning to quit my job. But in the meantime, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, I'm sorry we couldn't get AJ on. There was a little miscommunication on the schedule. These things happen, but we'll run it back. We'll have him on again. AJ's a good guy. He's always been really helpful to me. He's had me on the show a couple times, which always boosts I always get more subscribers every time I go on. So I appreciate that. Taco says, thank you for doing all you do in the algo community. I really appreciate that. And thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in, guys, everyone, whether you're on X or YouTube. I know we had between the two, we had over 100. And we'll run it. Yeah, we'll run it back for sure, guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. Take care. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you in the future.